As we all know, 99% of the continent Antarctica remains permanently covered with ice. So, ice caps are a major physical feature of Antarctica. And Antarctica would be the smallest continent if it did not have an ice cap. Now, what is an ice cap? Ice cap is a glacier, a thick layer of ice and snow that covers an area which is less than 50,000 square kilometers. So here we have a nice picture of your ice cap for you to understand that these are thick layers of snow and ice that permanently cover the land. And the ice cap of Antarctica is approximately 2,200 meters thick, and it has added to the original surface area and the height of continent. Now, this is also the reason why Antarctica is also known as the White Continent. The Antarctic ice caps are the largest reserves of fresh water in the world, and they contain about 70% of the world's fresh water. Now, if there were no ice caps, what would happen? Now, that's your second question in the homework for today. Now, that's an application based question, and you really have to put your head to it to understand that if there were no ice caps or there was no ice in Antarctica, what would the continent be like? The second feature is the glaciers. Now, what is a glacier? It is a slow moving mass or river of ice formed by the accumulation and compaction of snow. That means when the snow has been compacted together in layers and layers which have accumulated together on either the mountains or near the poles. After a little while, when the temperature gets a little higher, they start melting and they start moving. That is called a glacier. Here is the third most important term. An interconnected series of ice caps and glaciers is called an ice field. So we learnt about what is an ice cap, we learned what is a glacier. Now the interconnected series of both of these is called an ice field. Moving ahead with the dry valley. Now, what is a dry valley? It is a ice-free rocky area in the Transantarctic mountain areas which is carved by the glacier. That means this area has been given its shape while a glacier moved through it, but now it is a ice-free area because the ice which was present out there has already passed this area in the form of a glacier. So now there is no ice left, and no new ice or fresh glaciers are being formed because there is no rainfall at all. Since a long time in the recorded history, there has never been any rainfall in the Antarctic area, and if it all receives, it only has about 5 centimeters of snowfall max, and that is all. So in this area where the glacier was there or the accumulation of ice was there, it has moved further, so now it has become a dry valley. The next important physical feature is your Transantarctic mountains. And as we were discussing in the previous slides also, the Transatlantic mountains cross the entire continent and they divide the Antarctica into two parts, East Antarctica and West Antarctica. And East Antarctica faces the Atlantic and the Indian Ocean, and the Western Antarctica borders the Pacific Ocean. Here in this Transantarctic mountains, we have the dry valleys. In these mountain ranges, we have the Vinson Massif and the Mount Erebus, that is the active volcano and the highest peak here in the Ross Ice Shelf. And the last important feature is your Antarctic Peninsula. Now, why is it called the peninsula? Because it is surrounded by water on all the three sides. Therefore, this area is your Antarctic Peninsula. and it is a mountainous area. As you can see, all the brown color out here, this is an entire continuation of your Transantarctic mountain ranges. So here you can easily call it a mountainous S-shaped finger of the land that points towards the South America. Now this peninsula forms a continuation of the Andes Mountains. Now we've learnt about these Andes Mountains in South America, right? So when we are saying that the continuation of the transatlantic ocean is from the Andes mountain ranges. So we need to understand that at one point of the time, all these continents were joined together and gradually they must have rifted apart. Then only we have the continuous range of the young fold mountains. In North America, we learnt about the Rockies, and that time we had learnt that the Rockies are continuing further into South America with the other name called the Andes. And now when we are studying Antarctica, we come to know that these the Andes Mountains further continue with the name of Transantarctic Mountains in the continent of Antarctica. Here. Now we see how things join together in geography. All the continents and the features are interconnected. Today we have discussed the two subtopics, that is the location and the physical features of Antarctica, and in the next class we will be proceeding further with the climate. Here I found a very beautiful picture of the thermal view of the continent Antarctica. It's really thought-provoking, so I have given this slide as one of your homework. That is your question number 3, that you can write a few lines, a tagline, a simple quotation, or you can just give it any description. And there's a hint also given to you that it resembles an animal head. Otherwise, whatever you perceive in this, you can write in your homework along with the other questions. I also found a very beautiful poem on twilight, and if you can read this, this will really enhance your vocabulary and the information on what does the term twilight mean. Although we'll be doing it in the next class in detail, but if you read it beforehand, it will be better for you.